Okay, time for another chapter. I've been very lax. I've been listening to Barbara Streisand's audiobook. She's amazing. I wish that I could read like her. But I'm not Barbara Streisand. So I'm going to read chapter 3 today, which is called Chapter 3. Where are you? Chapter 3. Last Call. High Anxiety. If you lived in New York City between the years 1985 and 1996, congratulations, you've seen my tits. I do kind of show them every day, but not the way I used to. Boy, did I used to show them. Yes, that's right. I used to get drunk in bars and flash anyone who wanted to see them, which, in case you're wondering, was pretty much anyone. I was a dirty, rotten, drunken little whore. You can roll your eyes in disgust at me all you want. I don't care, because I had a good fucking time. Literally. That is until June 20th, 2000. Dateline Los Angeles, Heidi Clements quits drinking. The head runner in the marathon hangs up her shot shoes for good. People around the globe sighed the day I quit drinking because I was an awesome drunk. I was such a good drunk that I made you less drunk when you were out with me. This is the kind of liquored up lady everyone wants to be with. I drank back when it was okay to drive drunk. It's never okay to drive drunk. I never got a DUI, but I did have to walk the line once when I was completely shit-faced. And I passed with flying colors. I'm not sure how that happened. Love you, LAPD. You rock. My friend got pulled over one night while we were drinking wine and barreling through the Hamptons. She went to jail. I invited the cop back to the house for drinks. Our entire beach house went to her arraignment the next morning. We brought coffee and donuts. It was our idea of a cool brunch thing to do. Ah, youth. So dumb. Once I moved to California, I took drinking to a whole new level. My favorite liquor store was called the Pink Elephant. Let the irony wash over you. One night, I had a girlfriend in from New York. I took her to my favorite whoring spot in Los Angeles, Los Feliz. I picked up a guy and I left her at the bar by herself. Aren't I an awesome friend? Welcome to LA, see ya. It's amazing how important you think men are when you're drunk. Hours later, I woke up to the sound of someone banging on my gate. I ran out, naked, with this dude in tow, now sporting an oven mitt on his penis, to welcome my dear friend back to my apartment. She was thrilled. We stood there in the entranceway for 10 minutes while I tried to whisper slur to her, ask her his name, because I had already forgotten. I had no idea. Before I quit drinking, there were a lot of men in a lot of places, including Princess Diana's front lawn at Kensington Palace before she died. Some English idiot I couldn't pick out of a lineup convinced me to hop right over the fence and do it right there. The British were, in fact, coming. I had so many one-night stands fueled by such massive amounts of alcohol that I couldn't even begin to tell you the number of men I've had sex with. I can, however, give you a number of how many I've had since I quit drinking, 14 years ago, 23 years ago, but I won't. He knows who he is. My vagina is like Katrina after the hurricane. They say you shouldn't have sex with someone until a year after sobriety. I didn't listen. I banged a big fat liar. Sober sex is the most terrifying experience I've ever had. It scared me single. Having someone insert their flesh stick into my lady parts without a drink is like a scene from Paranormal Activity. Maybe if I videotaped it, I'll see what's going on more clearly. But to tell you the truth, I don't want to see what's going on more clearly. I don't want to see that thing coming at me without a cocktail. Maybe that's why it's called that. There are a million drunken stories I've tried to erase from my head over the years. I was thrown off an airplane once, although I have no memory of this. All I know is that I went to the airport one night to get on an airplane to New York, and I woke up in bed in Los Angeles the next morning with my friend on the phone wondering what had happened to me. Man, I would love to see the TSA tape on that one-woman performance. I bet I was wonderful. I'll never know. I still break out in a sweat when I pull up to an American Airlines counter. I'm convinced there's a big, bloated picture of me with a circle and slash through it, back there with the luggage tags. She's here, people! Get security! Another one of my crowning drunk achievements was the night I woke up to the police banging on my door with my friend Joey standing behind them. What the fuck are you doing here? I yelled through the gate. We just wanted to make sure you're okay, ma'am. Why wouldn't I be okay? I asked. Well, your friend said he left you outside the Staples Center while he went to get the car and you disappeared. I was at the Staples Center? I had no memory of that. Wow. You'd think this would have been enough to stop me from drinking, but I am no quitter, folks. I went on to live out a few more calamities, like hitting another car and running, meeting my friends at the airport covered in blood because I had cut my wrist open in the back of a limo I'd gone to pick them up in. Still, no quitting for me. Blah, blah, stay hammered. Thank you very much. It's hard to forget some of my greatest drinking tales because I'm still friends with a lot of my drinking buddies from back then, and they love to whip out a great story about what a colossal screw-up I was. Thanks, really, shut it down. The day I finally quit drinking was the day I woke up to go to work at 5 a.m. and decided to stay home and drink instead. This seemed like a super good idea, and that was literally the wake-up call. I'm not Oprah. I don't have aha moments. I have oh shit moments, and this was a big one. This was the first time alcohol had prevented me from going to work, and work was all I had. So I did what I thought was the mature thing to do. I continued to get hammered all weekend long, and I called everyone I knew and loved and said, I'm an alcoholic and I need to quit drinking. I already had a good buzz on, so I figured saying the words out loud while drunk would make them easier to say. It didn't necessarily make my message sound that believable. If you slur while you're telling people you're quitting drinking, it may be a little hard for them to swallow. Yet, some people were thrilled with my news. My parents seemed a bit perturbed, but even through my Chardonnay haze, I knew if I had to be accountable to people, it would keep me sober. I did go to 2 AA meetings, but I found it to be a little too God squad for me, and the idea of turning my troubles over to a higher power worried me. I mean, if God had time to handle my Chardonnay problem, then we kind of all have a problem. The first meeting was filled with people who were very angry that no one understood them, that they had serious life issues, and they should be excused from any bad behavior while trying to get sober. To me, that was just a load of crap. Everyone has issues. We all have to deal with problems on a daily basis, and being an alcoholic does not give you an excuse to act like an asshole. What it gives you is memory loss. Oh, did I call your kid ugly and vomit on your lawn? Sorry. I'm an alcoholic, and I was having a bad day. The only way to fix your bad behavior or face a life problem is to deal with it head on. At the second AA meeting I went to, some guy with liquor on his breath hit on me, and I never went back. Plus, he wasn't cute, and I no longer had the ability to drink someone pretty. I'm thrilled that AA exists, and it's helped millions of people. It just wasn't for me. I think I've gone back to a few meetings since, and I find it comforting to hear people talk. I just don't like people to make up excuses for why they do what they do. The first 6 months of sobriety was brutal. I hated everyone, especially people who couldn't handle their liquor. Yeah, those assholes. I still went to bars because I thought this would prove I was a tough motherfucker. All it did was prove that drunk people are super annoying. Eventually, I stopped thinking about drinking and replaced that addictive behavior with something more accessible. Shoe shopping. Turns out money can't buy happiness. Turns out money can buy happiness, and I know all the stores where they sell it. One day, I went to see the movie Flight with my friend Brian. I had no idea what it was about other than a pilot, a plane, and maybe some liquor. 2 hours later, I was sobbing uncontrollably in the back of the ArcLight Theater Hollywood, and Brian was rethinking the whole, hey, wouldn't it be fun to go see a movie? Flight is about an alcoholic, a raging, crazy, fall down, can't remember anything drunk. It's about a person who's willing to ignore all the signs that his life is falling apart in exchange for a drink. And it was someone I used to be. Apparently everyone knew this was what the movie was about, everyone other than me and Brian. I was caught so off guard by the emotions that I collapsed in a heap. My shoulders were shuddering. The tears started pouring out of my eyes. My emotion was shocking, even to me. Brian was frozen with fear that I was broken. We sat there until I was able to calm down. We both realized that I had some shit I had never clearly dealt with when it came to alcohol. My throat is closing now even as I read this because I'm remembering how out of touch I was with the idea that I had quit drinking. I just did it, but I didn't deal with how it affected my body. I suppose a psychiatrist could have helped me with that years ago, but I've never gone to a shrink. Boring people to death with your problems is what good friends are for. I have gone to a shrink since, and, mixed. I have mixed emotions about it. Brian asked me what it was that gave me the strength to quit. I said, I don't really know. He said he thought I just refused to let anything beat me. I refused to let it win. He's probably right. If only I could apply this logic to my credit card debt. Watching the part of the movie where Denzel realizes that he's been lying to himself and everyone he knows for his entire life is what sent me over the edge. I finally remembered what I had been blocking for years, what it truly felt like to quit drinking. I had kept so many walls up for so long, putting my brave face on sobriety. But there in the darkness of that theater, over a decade after I quit drinking, it came rushing in like a tidal wave. I suddenly recalled every second of my journey. I did it alone. And it left me raw. Still affects me. Martin Sheen says people who don't go to AA are just white knuckling it. He's right. I'd love to shove my sober white knuckles up his ass. It doesn't matter how you do it, just do it. Being drunk is a waste of time. I used to think that it was cool to be a drunken writer like Hemingway. Then I read some stuff I'd written while I was under the influence, and it would have been a farewell to my career. I never would be where I am today if I still drank. It's amazing how it still lives in your body. The emotional side of what you go through when you quit drinking. It is hard, but it's so worth it. Pull it together. Okay. I don't get up and talk about my drinking to roomfuls of people. Well, I do now. And I don't judge people who do. Whatever gets you through it, do it. For me, it was just part of my past, and I'm past it. Clearly, I'm not. I went through it alone, and I go through it alone. And honestly, I don't think about it until I do, like right now. And then sometimes I come undone. Wow, this is hard. Even I continue to be stunned by my own willpower, but I think the second you realize if you don't stop doing something, you will die. You manage to get a handle on it. Let me read that again. I think the second you realize if you don't stop doing something, you will die. You manage to get a handle on it. I have been sober for 14 years now, 23. I have never looked back. I have never once said, man, do I need a drink. I just quit cold turkey, the end. Story over. I think I've been successful with sobriety because it just got better the second I stopped. It's a testament to what we humans are capable of doing if we put our minds to something. Life for me is too good to be seen through wine goggles. I am not ashamed of my past. I use it to drive me to my future. Only now if I get pulled over, I won't go to jail. It was pretty easy for me to forget most of the dumb things I did while drunk because, quite frankly, I didn't remember most of them. These days, if I see someone who looks vaguely familiar, I just apologize. When your past is littered with Chardonnay and kamikaze shots, this is the easiest response and usually the most necessary. When I run into an old friend who starts a conversation with, hey, remember the time we blah blah'd? I usually just say, I was drunk. One of the great things about being sober is that you no longer have to make excuses for your dumbass behavior, and you tend to remember everything you do at night because it no longer involves a car accident, the police, and a man in your house wearing an oven mitt on his penis. However, there are moments in sobriety when you run into someone who seems to have way more information about you than he should, someone who believes you have met and you have zero recollection of this person. This goes on to talk about marijuana and stuff, and honestly, I think I'm done reading for today because I did not know this was going to affect me so much. So I hope if you're having a hard time quitting drinking, I hope this helps you. It's so worth it. Someday I'm going to get it out of my body, but being sober is the best thing that ever happened to me.